Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Balkanizer. Um, so we're going to be fairly spontaneous today, but the topic is languages of the region, when ones which are typically Balkan or at least neighboring on the Balkan region. So my background on this is actually I came to Hungary first, which isn't a classic, isn't really Balkan in the stricter sense of the word, but it's on the edge. And it's certainly, I mean, if you look historically, there's been a lot of interaction, and we have to remember that the borders of Hungary were much once much greater,
Hmm.
and they stretched into right down to the Danube and to some extent into sort of Bosnian direction in various ways,
Hmm.
depending where you look at it. So anyway, the Hungarian language is important in this region, I would say. So that's one I personally speak. In fact, it's the language. It's still my second language. I don't speak any other language, any other second language as well as I speak Hungarian. I spent 5 years in Greece, so I understand Greek, and I could speak it reasonably well when I was there, but I've sort of it's got very rusty, really. I need a bit of a refresher on that. And then Serbian, I've been struggling with that for how many years has it? I've been here now? 6, 7 years.
Right,
Um,
right. Hmm.
and of course, Charlie, you are fluent in Serbian.
Well, yeah, I should be better than I am. My spoken Serbian is still my weakest point.
Yeah.
Uh, I read it fluently. I can understand more or less everything that people say to me, and yeah, it's an
Yeah.
academic.
So, I mean, what we want to do
My
today is
spoken
really
Serbian is a
compare,
bit weak. So
yeah, compare these languages just from our own experience and,
yeah,
just see what lessons there are in it.
yeah.
Um,
It's a sandwich, I think. You've got Hungarian at the top and
yes.
Serbian in the middle and Greek at the bottom. So we're
Yeah.
perfect there. I'm the filling in the middle, and you're the slices of bread at the at the top and the bottom.
Yes. So, what can
Mm.
we say? I mean, I guess,
Yeah.
we
I
have
suppose
to,
the first thing to say is that they are all very different languages.
yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, Serbian is clearly Slavic with lots of similarities or obvious vocabulary similarities with Russian and with
Yes, indeed.
uh,
Indeed.
Czech and Polish and um, uh, but yeah, Hungarian with no real similar languages at all, as I understand it. I mean,
Well,
people
yes. I mean,
say that it's
this
like
is a,
Finnish and that
yeah.
they say that it's like Turkish, but really, there's no
It
way that a Finn could understand
it's
a
a big
Hungarian, right?
debate in Hungary itself,
Mhm. Right.
and there was this sort of 19th century, 20th century idea of Finno-Ugric language, connecting
Mm.
it with Finnish.
Yeah.
Um, but whether the Turkic connection is stronger, I mean, for my money, that's stronger because they use suffixes in the same way, for
Yeah.
expressing relations. So, and to me, that makes better sort of um, historical geographical sense, where
Hmm.
broadly speaking, where these people were coming from. And there's
Yeah.
actually something called the Organization of Turkic States, I think it is,
Right. Hmm.
which obviously has Turkey, Kazakhstan, most of these stands in
Yeah.
Central
Yeah.
Asia. But Hungary is in fact an observer. They have a sort of status as an observer on that.
Yeah.
So obviously the Hungarian people were coming from that sort of direction.
And
Um,
there was a lot of cross-fertilization with later waves of steppe warriors, wasn't there? I mean, with the Cumans and
yeah, that's
some of
right.
the other people
That's right. That's
rolling
right.
in from the east.
Yeah, yeah. So you have
Um,
these names like Kun. Kun is the Hungarian. Kun.
right. Hmm.
Kunshag is a region in Hungary.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yes, you know. Um,
And there's a lot of historical cross-fertilization. I was reading about she's called Yelisaveta here, the wife of Milutin in the um, late 12th, early 13th century,
yes,
who and her mother was a Cuman princess. I mean, she married,
really,
she
really.
converted
Yes.
to
Yeah.
Christianity and married the king of the Christian king of Hungary. But it's it's really quite fascinating to think of and she was quite strongly religious, I think. She was a nun before she got married, before she married
Oh, she was.
Putin.
Oh,
Yes.
really? Really?
Well, he basically took her away,
Ah, okay.
so quite what
Yeah.
sort of relationship it was, I don't know. But anyway, I'm getting too much into history. It's linguistically, to my mind, it's a language of the steppe, isn't it?
Well, yeah. So, I
Um,
mean, and this is, I mean, my sort of initial contribution to this whole discussion would be to say that Hungarian is much easier than Serbian, which is a sort of
which sounds really
contra
strange to me.
controversial statement because
Yeah.
everyone says, "Oh, Hungarian is one of the hardest languages to learn," and
Hmm.
I don't actually think. What can I say? I think that's based on certain experiences of it,
Hmm.
but is not actually the reality. If you're talking about once you investigate it, and I
Hmm.
would say the hard part of Hungarian is the unfamiliar vocabulary. So that's it's the sort of shocking thing. Somebody goes to Budapest and looks at the Hungarian sign, you can't see.
Hmm.
Whereas if you look at French or German or whatever, there's lots of common words or words you can deduce.
Yes.
Whereas Hungarian, being an Asiatic language, has this sort of unique lexical content.
Hmm.
And this is a sort of big scary thing, So the
Yeah.
sun is called Nop, the moon is called Hold,
Right.
Earth is called Third. So that kind of thing is frightening because you can't pin it onto anything European.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once you've done that, once you've learned the sort of essential vocabulary, you have a massively simple, I mean, a much simpler grammatical structure than Slavic,
Hmm.
Russian or
Yeah. Yeah.
Serbian.
Hmm.
Because you don't have case, and you don't have gender. You're not declining nouns, you're not declining adjectives.
Hmm.
Um, which I would say is the chief challenge of Serbian and I suppose Russian is you've got to decline adjectives and nouns. And I would say, once you're getting on in life like myself, the chances of actually getting all that under your belt are getting increasingly slim. Uh,
Yes. Right. Hmm.
so, and throwing in just incidentally Macedonia, I was talking to my Macedonian friend
Hmm.
yesterday, and they don't have case. They just say tebe for everything. I give
Hmm.
it tebe, I take it from tebe.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
So
Well, there's a lot
so
of variation in within Serbia as
and
far
of
as the
course
cases are
in southern
concerned.
Serbia it's similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've sort of
Yeah.
reduced the
Hmm.
cases.
Hmm.
So maybe that's a more modern version of Serbian that I could cope with myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well, I don't know that I've fully mastered the whole the case system. It's because it is a lot of it is related to what preposition goes with which case
yes.
and so on. So
And also
it
the case,
depends on
it's irregular. I mean,
the
there are different,
mm,
declensions, aren't there?
yes,
Um,
yeah,
and a lot of irregularities. So, I mean,
hmm yeah,
um,
and and you don't get much help. I mean, there's not very much in the way of good textbooks
no,
and
no, certainly not for cases.
yeah.
I've got a book of verbs, which
Hmm.
seems quite comprehensive. I mean, I could
Right.
probably spend a lifetime studying that book.
Well,
Um,
the verb system is horrible as
yeah,
well
lots of
because
irregularity there. Yeah.
and this business of building a verb by adding prefixes to it. So it's
Yes.
the verb puniti
Po
is
and
to
za
fill.
and all this stuff. Yeah.
But popuniti is
Yeah.
used in some contexts. You can
Yes. Yes.
or napuniti in another.
That's right. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's always, I mean, I'm always hearing a new na, po, za,
Yeah.
I mean, all these verbs. So this has been my experience of it, that it's just
I
that
can't remember whether
I
now.
look, I scroll the articles on the phone and there's always like one word in the title I haven't seen before, and I'm just thinking, well,
Mhm.
isn't it about time that I'd seen every main word, but they're just coming out of nowhere, these words.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe there's a bigger active vocabulary than there are in other languages. I don't know. Um,
I'm not sure about that. I really don't know what the
yeah,
standard
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Serbian vocabulary
it's
is.
my
Certainly,
experience.
there's a lot of regional variation still, and even
Yeah.
between well, and social variation. I think because there's the Serbian we speak in the cities and the Serbian we speak in the
Yes.
villages, and in the village where I have my house, there's still a lot more of the old Turkish vocabulary is in use there.
Oh, right. You noticed that, yeah?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And they have their own funny words for things as well. I think of them as funny words. I don't know.
This is in Dubona you're talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
which is
45
not so far.
kilometers,
It's not so far from Belgrade, isn't it?
45 kilometers away from
Y
my house in Belgrade. That's
yes.
great.
Yes.
So, but yeah, they still use, whereas most people refer to a bridge in Serbian as most.
Yes.
In Dubona, it is still čuprija, which is the Turkish word for a bridge.
Really, really,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah.
The word for a well in Serbian is bunar,
Yes.
but in Dubona it's always jerem, which is Turkish again.
Really, really.
Mm.
Yeah, that's striking. Yeah.
And yeah, that's
So yes, and of course Hungarian has Turkish words like papuç,
yeah.
is there. Shar, well, okay, that's not Hungarian, that's not Turkish. I'm trying to think of Turkish words. Um, but then there are common words between Serbian and Hungarian, like shargarepa,
Yes, yeah.
and that means yellow carrot. I mean, that's Hungarian shargarepa.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. I didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah. So,
Vashar is another one,
oh yeah,
isn't it?
Vasha, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
So Vasha is like market, yeah,
Hmm. And in
fair,
Serbian, it's a
but
fair. Yeah.
fair, yeah, more like fair actually.
Hmm.
And what was the other one? Oh yeah, Varos.
Yes, yes,
That's a Hungarian.
yes. I
Var
recognize that.
is a town.
Hmm. Yes, I
In
recognize
Hungary.
that as sounding
Yeah,
Hungarian. Yeah.
yeah. Varos is city. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so this, as I say, there's no so in a Hungarian relationship is expressed by suffix. So all you have to do is learn the
Hmm.
suffix, to go to or to come from,
Yeah.
or to talk about.
Hmm.
Um, and then the only variation in suffixes is on the vowel combination of the verb. So you have dark vowels like o,
Hmm.
are, and so
Yeah.
then you have a dark suffix like
Yeah.
roll, and
Hmm.
then or I should say bon, roll. And then if it's a light vowel like
Hmm.
then you have a light suffix re, and so on. So
That's the same as with Turkish. Yes, because I
yeah, well
do
that's it. That's why I
basic
prefer
knowledge of
that
Turkish as
idea that
well.
it's
Yeah.
connected to that.
So certainly, what do they call it
But
on?
that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
the
that is so
suffix
much
is all followed.
simpler than case. You just it's like English. It's like instead of learning the preposition, you
Hmm.
learn the suffix.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then the verbal structure is fairly simple. There's not a
Yeah.
great deal of variety. There's a present.
How flexible is word order in
It's fairly
Hungarian?
flexible because
Hmm.
of the
The
suffix
suffixes, yeah, yeah,
system.
that
Yeah, so
carries
you
it.
can
Yeah.
always identify, for example, you can identify the object
Hmm.
by because it has a T on the end.
Right. Right.
So you
Hmm.
can say all mat etem.
Hmm.
It means apple I ate, but because
Hmm.
you've got the T on the end, you know it's
Hmm.
the object. And I guess that applies in Serbian as well, isn't it? Because you have case, you don't have to put the object after the verb, do you?
Word order is very much more flexible, yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Well, that's
it
it.
is
That's
very confusing still to the English speaker when you say a simple sentence like "the dog bit the man," and we
yes,
know who bit who, but
yeah, yeah.
um,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I think in most European languages it's case or some suffixes. I mean,
mhm,
that's how you identify the object.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but it's English because we don't have um, we don't have case for nouns. We have some case for pronouns, of course. Don't we have him and
yeah,
her?
yeah.
But
And
basically for
as a
nouns,
side note on language, you're an English teacher as
yes,
well to foreigners. I don't know if you had the same experience, but when I started learning English grammar in order to teach it to foreigners,
yes,
it was um, hugely informative and very interesting for me.
Yes.
And I wonder why on earth that system, that grammatical system for English, isn't taught to English
Well,
people.
that's it. I mean, I think it should be,
I know.
reintroduced.
I remember, yeah, arguing with my first wife about present perfect, for example.
Yes.
To me, I have been, or I've seen this, and so on.
Yes.
Because to me, in my head, as an English speaker, it was a past tense. So why is it called present perfect? Um,
Yes. Yes. Well, that's it. I mean, it's
but
so.
when you get your head around these things, I mean, most English people don't know the difference
Well, that's
between
it. It's only really
past
somebody who
continuous
studies.
and
If you
past
study
simple. Yeah,
English language at university, you will actually, look at
yeah,
English grammar. But it's not, and it's about the only European country I think where you don't do grammar of your own
yeah,
language. Yeah, it's
yeah.
rather weird, I'm always explaining to my students, well, people just they just, you have to write letters at school. You have to
Hmm.
practice writing, and you just practice and read, and that's it. There's no rules given,
That's right.
but
Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
it would probably improve all sorts of things if they
Hmm.
had that in.
Yes, well, it was, particularly with how we talk about the future in English, with all these different forms. Where you've got
Yes.
will future, you've got present continuous with future meaning,
Yeah. Yes, of
present
course.
simple with future meaning. You've got
Yes.
um,
Yes.
and that would be really useful to have known that when I was a kid.
Well, that's right, and I think that's right. I think it would improve people's skill, wouldn't it? If they
Yeah,
know, if they're
yeah,
actually
yeah,
conscious. I mean, people are doing this unconsciously,
yeah,
but
yeah.
if they consciously were taught that this is what they're doing, they would probably have a more elegant, more expressive, uh, you know,
Well, yes, yeah,
repertoire.
just a sort of a sense of how the language fits together.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
it's a
No,
digression.
it's
But it is interesting that I suppose when the language is more inflected and it's more grammatical, then they have a different approach to teaching it. And so
well, that's it. That's
um,
it. So I guess,
we
yeah. I mean that this is the point, isn't it? Without case, there is no cases to worry about in English.
mhm.
Um,
But yeah, our tense structure is quite complicated
but the
and
ten, yeah, but the structure of the verb. There's
yeah,
all sorts of, what I often say. It's different um, language groups. If you say the ethnicities with their language group emphasize different things. So
mhm.
or make different, yeah, place emphasis on different distinctions. So in English, we have
Yes.
this
Mhm.
idea of the past, either
Mhm.
as something like recorded at different point, a sequence of events
Yes.
in some identified past time, or this perfect, present perfect, this idea of the
Hmm.
past up to now, and that's sort of relevant to the present. And that's
Hmm.
it just doesn't exist as a verbal structure
Yeah.
in most other languages.
It was one of the main issues when we were dealing with translation from Serbian into English
Yes,
that the Serbian writer will um, float freely between all sorts of different tense structures. One time he's speaking in the present tense, but
yes,
he's talking about the past. He's speaking in the past tense, but he's talking about the present.
yes,
Um, and to enforce the stricter English structure
yes.
onto that more fluid use of tense is quite difficult sometimes.
Well, yeah,
Um,
that's it, precisely, precisely.
yeah.
I mean, and in Hungarian, again on this theme of what's
Hmm.
important in Hungarian is whether the object is definite or indefinite, right? So
Right.
if you
Hmm.
say tudom, if you use an M on the end, for example, with I,
Hmm.
tudom, it means I know it, I know that particular thing, or I know that person, for example.
Hmm. Yeah.
But if you say tudok, if it has a K in the first person's singular,
Hmm.
I know something in general, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
if you just saw a dog, yeah. So
Hmm.
I can see I see a dog, yeah.
Hmm.
La Tom, la
Hmm.
tok, edge if it's one. But
Hmm.
if it's I see the dog, it's la tom,
Hmm.
So the ending of the verb changes.
Right. Right. Yeah. Hmm.
Um, so that's
Yes.
just a
Well,
different
yes,
emphasis.
it's
That for
Serbian.
some reason that's important in
Yes.
the culture.
Yes. Yeah. Hmm. Whereas, yes, within Serbian, of course, gender is extremely important, and
Yes,
it is
yes,
interesting how the move towards um, uh, uh, gender equality
Yes.
expresses itself very differently in Serbian
Well,
than it
that's
does
it. I mean,
in
so
English.
every
We tend to
time,
go, "Mm,
so every time a Serb speaks, they're reminded of their gender, aren't they? Because
yeah,
they
yeah,
remind
yeah."
themselves.
Well,
You know,
it feels to me sometimes indelicate, sort of, to refer to what a woman did in the past tense. Yeah,
yeah,
um, zvala me. Yeah, yeah, you and you can tell from she called me,
yeah.
or you can, but you can tell from the formation of the past tense that it's
Yeah, it's
a,
a woman.
a
Yeah,
woman that did it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, to be honest, I think it's healthy, because
Mm.
because all this sort of anti-gender,
Well, that was the
uh,
point I was
you
trying to
know,
make. Yeah, there was.
I think to be reminded of our reality, that there are two genders, and that
We
we
tend
have
to
different
in
roles.
England to go for neutral variations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they can.
Whereas here,
It wouldn't
um,
be allowed. I think it would be banned. Is it a politically correct language?
mhm. Well, it begins to sound a bit like it's not. Yeah. And
Yes.
but
Yeah.
the feminist movement in Serbian goes much more towards giving female versions for nouns which used to be male. So
Oh,
doctor
really?
is one, for example. So you refer to a male doctor as a doctor and a female doctor as a doctor. But nowadays we prefer much more to refer to a female doctor as doctorka.
Right. So,
Uh,
but is that feminism, or I mean, isn't that?
yes, yeah.
But I mean, in a way, that's not feminism, because I
It's a
mean,
different concept of feminism.
yeah,
We are now saying that a woman can be a doctor.
yes, yeah,
She can also be in in academic titles, for example. We've got this
uh-huh, yes,
dot center, which is somewhere between a sort of a reader and a professor.
yes, yeah,
And now we have docentkinja, um,
uh-huh, yeah, right, right.
um, and you can make female nouns of all sorts of things
But it's
which
like
never used to be.
actor, actress, headmaster, headmistress,
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Mhm.
But I think the most sort of the anti-gender movement is like saying, oh, you've got to always have a non-gender. It's like not chairman or chairwoman, but chair, the
Mhm.
chair,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
or the
Well,
head.
with Serbian, they've taken a completely different
Yeah, yeah,
approach. I'm not sure how it is with other highly inflected and gendered
yeah,
languages, but that's certainly the way it's gone here. So, like you're saying, different things,
yes,
different approaches.
yeah. And then both languages had a sort of modernization program, didn't they? In the 19th
Yes,
century.
yes. I don't
Uh,
know much about Greek. Presumably, they
Well, Greek, yeah, Greek,
purified
you have
their
the
language.
demotic
Hmm.
language. So you have what's called Katharevousa, which is like High Greek, classical
Hmm.
Greek, but then demotic Greek,
Yeah.
which is what people speak, is simplified again from that. So if
Do we
you read
find
some,
Turkish vocabulary creeping into demotic Greek as
yes, I mean,
well?
yeah, Greek
Yeah.
has it's similar to, I would say, just instinctively, I would say it has a similar sort of proportion of Greek,
Of
Turkish
course, with a lot
import.
of these words, it's difficult even for the etymologist to say where the word originated,
Yeah,
isn't
where
it?
it came from originally anyway. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we hear that
Um,
with in the context of music as well.
yeah.
Is this melody Turkish, Bulgarian,
Yes.
Macedonian, Croatian, Serbian,
Well, that's right. That's right.
or
And
Bosnian? Yeah, because
yeah,
it's
and so, it's very interesting. Some Serbian pop music, it's just like completely identical to Greek, certain Greek. I
yeah,
suspect it. They
yeah.
just copied it. To be honest, there's certain.
Well, a
Um,
lot of it, I think, comes from Bollywood as well.
oh, well, that's another
Yeah,
element.
with that
Yeah,
Oriental
yeah, yeah.
element to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so with Greek, I mean, I would say with Greek, for me, Greek is a different story.
Mm,
Um, I didn't learn Greek at school at all, but I did mathematics, and I did further
mm,
mathematics. So I was on this sort of engineering type trajectory, and it was all like maths all day. Maths, I did double maths, maths, further maths, physics,
hmm.
right? So every letter of the Greek alphabet was
Right.
needed,
Yes.
for all these different things. So
Yeah.
by the time I started reading New Testament Greek,
Hmm.
um, I knew the letters, so I just had to put them together with pronunciation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you learn New Testament Greek in the West, you will probably learn what's called Erasmian pronunciation
Hmm.
after the scholar
Yes,
Erasmus,
I remember
16th
you
century.
mentioned it.
I
Yeah.
mentioned this maybe. I don't know if that
Hmm.
was on a podcast
On a
we did.
podcast or not? Yeah.
But anyway, so just to go through, so that is, and that basically gives a different value for every vowel or diphthong that you see in
Hmm.
writing.
Yeah.
Whereas modern Greek has five sounds,
Hmm.
five, right?
Yes.
Compared
Right.
to I don't
Hmm.
know how many.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so you or yeah, we I think I mentioned that one. Was it hoi polloi?
Yeah.
Is
Hmm.
e poly? So
Yeah. Hmm.
this Omicron iota, OI, what you say, is an
Hmm.
ear sound. So the diphthongs, a diphthong is when you have two vowels together, just for
Yes.
anyone
Yeah.
who's
Hmm.
listening doesn't know
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
It's when you have that, they've just been simplified into one sound. Um, so
Yeah.
that's one thing I noticed when I sort of went to Greece for the first time. Um, well, actually, I probably knew before, but I experienced it. But I think one thing I'd say about Greek versus Serbian is it's much, in my view, much more readable because I think
Right. Hmm.
the letters are more the problem with Cyrillic in
Hmm.
standard print form is you have so many parallel lines, so it could be a n, a
Yes.
sh,
Yeah. Hmm.
and
Yeah.
for me, that is just it can only slow the thing down. If I see Serbian in Latin, I can read it very quickly. But
Yeah.
I'm sure with Serbian with Cyrillic, it's like I'm putting a lot more effort into reading that.
My reading is less accurate and much slower
Yeah, yeah.
when
And
I'm
I don't
reading
think you can fix
Cyrillic.
that. I mean,
Mm, mm.
I guess it's getting better slowly, but it just seems to be so hard. And I think it's because of that there's too many parallel lines,
Mm.
and you're always having to.
It's particularly difficult, isn't it, when they put it into italics?
Yeah, yeah,
I find when I've got a Serbian text to read and it has Cyrillic in italics, I always
yes.
go over it and put it and take the italics off so that I can
Right,
actually
right.
read.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and maybe there are some,
And handwritten Cyrillic, although
well, handwritten. Yeah, that's another
it is
story.
beautiful.
Yeah,
It is, yeah, so many, just an E and a T and a
yeah,
sh. They are
yeah,
just so a word with E to sh together in it
yeah,
will just be a series of up and down lines.
yeah. I mean, obviously, you
Perhaps
know
with a
how sometimes they use this
line.
for the lambda type for L, don't they? But
Yeah,
if it's an
yeah.
L like
Hmm.
that, obviously it's another one of those. But you
Hmm.
could do it like that, and at least that's one letter which is clearer. But you know, I would say this is, compared to my learning of Greek and Hungarian, that this is one of the slowest things. It's just,
And of course, it
speed.
has um, what national significance. Because when I remember when I first came to Yugoslavia, I was uh, first surprised that they would have two ways of writing exactly the same
Yes.
sound, exactly the same language. So why why do you have to have a separate symbol for it? But
So,
yes,
for
the
example,
Serbs. Well, I remember on all the railway carriages when we first arrived in Yugoslavia,
yes.
they would have all the words were repeated in the Latin alphabet
Oh, in
and
Cyrillic
the
and
Cyrillic alphabet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's not just like, you can transcribe Russian into English. It is actually exact equivalence. So sh
Mhm.
written in the Latin alphabet is an S with a diacritic, and
Yes, yeah.
in the Cyrillic alphabet, it's this other a different symbol,
Yes, of course.
but it is exactly equivalent. So why would you bother to do that? And the only reason really is that Vuk Karadžić, the sort of founder of the Serbian language, adopted a Cyrillic. Um,
So,
f-
okay, but before he did that, what that they had Cyrillic, didn't they? I mean,
they
what
did, oh yes, yes, but it was Church Slavonic, that
but
kind
it
of.
was a more
Yeah.
complex script kind of thing.
Yes, yes, I think, and I think I've heard it said that it was similar to Russian in that sense.
Okay, so
Because
so
he produced a phonetic transcription. That was the
right, okay, but I mean, but now if you look at Russian printed Cyrillic and Serbian printed Cyrillic, it's
mhm.
basically the same. Apart, there are some different letters, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
word
Mhm.
the key letters are the same. Now, what's that? I mean, where does this modern printed Cyrillic? Who was first with that? What's the history of that?
With Serbian.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
which
it
was
was all
first? Was
happening
it
at more or
used
less
in
the same
Russia
time.
first, or was
I
it?
don't know. And people say that Pushkin was the founder of the Russian language, wasn't it? Or at least the first person to
Uh-huh.
use it as a literary
But at
language.
some point, the scripts
Uh,
became the same. I mean, I wonder when that was. It's the same script. I mean, what I'm saying, just
yes,
apart
yes.
from the different letters.
I couldn't say. Yeah, but with the Vuk Karadžić,
But
um,
what?
he was famous for saying, "Write as you speak, speak as you
Yeah, of
write,"
course. So make it
and
phonetic. Yeah,
he
yeah. And
produced
wasn't
a
who was
phonetic
the English philosopher? Was it
transcription.
Bertrand Russell, or one of them was very impressed by this, weren't they? Somebody came.
Well, there's always been this movement in Britain, hasn't there, towards moving towards a phonetic alphabet, so that we don't have to spend 20
Well, has
years.
anybody actually tried? I mean,
Right.
I remember at school at the library at home there was an IPA shelf, I had this huge shelf of books
Hmm.
written using the phonetic alphabet.
Really?
Um,
Right.
but
Hmm.
I never had any impression that that was just it was just for people who had difficulty learning to read.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
didn't know there was any movement to introduce it.
Well, I think there
What's
always have been movements to simplify it. I mean, there's of course the Americans made some steps
Yeah, that's true.
to
Yeah, yeah,
simplify
went
it generally.
through, walked
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
park.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think yes, it's that sort of the the late 19th century Fabians were looking for logic in everything and wanted
Yeah, yeah,
to
okay.
to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make the language, and it makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, why shouldn't we adopt a set number of letters for a particular diphthong so that
Well, that's it. I mean, that's it. I
we
mean,
write train in one way and then and pain in another way, and
yes,
why
yes.
not have just
Yeah, but
let's
it would be such a
slide it into
major
the AI.
overhaul.
You
That's
know.
right. But it would be such a major overhaul, wouldn't it? I think that's the
Well, it's
problem,
a bit
isn't it?
like learning to drive on the other side of the road, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I mean, that's it. It's that embedded everywhere and
Hmm.
everything. I mean, how are you going to start? And there would be something rather, I don't know the words. I don't know, shocking if you're almost about, if it was like if everyone
Well, you can
if
only do it at particular times, I suppose, and Vuk
that
Karadžić managed to do it
that's
at
right.
the
You've got to,
time
it just would be
when it was
considered as a sort
possible.
of
Yeah.
brutal, Bolshevik type thing or
Hmm.
something. If you
And of course, Atatürk did it as well with Turkish and
right.
produced
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
a
yeah. So
Latin alphabet,
you've
a
got to have a
phonetic
massive
Latin
political
transcript
will, haven't
for
you, to do
a
that?
modern Turkish. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they abandoned the Osmanli, which was actually still used in the Balkans into the 20th century.
Huh?
Osmanli uh, sort of Persian-based,
Oh, really? That
actually Persian
writing was a different
Arabic
script. Yeah, yeah, I've
writing
seen.
script, and you have texts written actually in that script which are in a Slavic language.
Oh, yes, yes. Now I
Uh,
have seen sometimes on monuments you see this.
yes, well, quite often the monuments of that is just Osmanli. It's
Yeah,
basically
yeah, yeah.
the old Turkish, but there are texts that have been written. You when you read them, you read the words you're reading are Serbian. Well, yeah, they're Bosnian. They are. Um, but it's a Slavic language
Yeah, yeah,
rather than Turkish.
yeah,
So yes, incredible mixture, yeah, of cultures and languages and so on. But yeah, these are the ones that we know best.
yeah.
But
So,
Serbian is proving difficult.
well, yes, I think so. I mean, again, I'm thinking about Greek and how, I think I heard it said that there are sort of, and this was about ancient Greek maybe, but there were like 4,000 words, and you can create every word from this, this sort of core vocabulary.
Right,
And I,
right.
I just find I can read Greek. I mean, I read theology mostly in Greek,
Hmm.
and I just understand it, just fine. I mean, I understand
Hmm.
nearly every, sentence.
Right,
Whereas in
yeah,
a
yeah.
Serbian thing, I'm nearly every sentence I have to check something, I don't know
hmm
what this is. I'm just looking at it and I'm making some sort of assumption about what it means, and it turns out to be
hmm
wrong.
Right, right.
Um,
Mm.
so I think there's a lot of connect. I find, Greek has a lot of connection with English, actually, with
hmm
more
Yeah, yeah.
scientific and
That's
technical
interesting
words.
to me. Yes, yes. When I hear people speaking about religious matters in
Yes,
Greeks, and you hear the what I associate with being very scientific terminology
yes,
coming out.
yes. Well,
So
that's right. So,
when
so all
a
the
Greek
words
Greek
are
starts talking
used.
about anthropos, for
Yeah, that's
example,
right. Precisely,
it sounds
precisely.
very
So,
very scientific, and you
yeah,
realize
they
that
all these
actually,
words. If it's something to do with science, it's got some word in English which is based
mm,
on that, and it gives you something to hold on to. Some sort
yeah,
of connection. Um, so it's very interesting. That after 7 years here, it's that's still the situation. I look at a page of Greek and it's open to me. I look at a page of Serbian and there's all sorts of dark areas on it.
mm,
Except if it's some very familiar topic. But if
yeah,
it's
yeah.
something, outside my usual realm, that's usually my experience. Um,
Yes, I mean I've had a fair exposure because I did quite a lot of translation back
yeah, I'm
in the day,
sure. Yeah,
and I can it does happen from time to time that I encounter new vocabulary.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but not that often these
yeah. Well,
days.
that's good. I mean, yeah, if
Mm.
you've been working it for so long. So,
Now using the vocabulary is a different matter. Yeah, and yeah, I haven't got my head around the numbering system in Serbian
yes.
because the the case that you use with numbers is different. It varies if you've got uh, jedna knjiga, dve knjiga, tri knjiga. I can't remember now, but it
Yeah, that's
changes.
right.
You don't start
And
using
for
the
five
plural
and
form
five
until
plus is
later.
more, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
So
yeah.
you've got three number
Yeah,
groupings, which is
yeah.
super confusing.
hmm
Um, and what was I thinking of? Something along these lines.
Yeah, so for some languages you can learn a little bit and you can go to the shop and buy a loaf of bread without making a mistake. But
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Serbia, you have to know the difference between
That's right. Yeah.
that mleko is a neuter noun and is therefore
Yeah, well,
declined.
that's it. I mean, just so many things. And then there's this reflexive particle, se, you know,
yes, yeah,
and
indeed.
that can
Yeah.
go in all sorts of funny places, I find anyway, it's like sort of
That's right.
really
Yes,
early
yeah,
in the sentence or somewhere
yeah,
else.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. And the Serbian version of and I, uh,
yes,
which is used in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways,
yes,
um,
yeah, like,
particularly by certain writers. Milos Crnjanski is a
uh-huh,
brilliant writer, but I
yes,
tried translating one of his sections from one of
yes,
his novels,
yes,
and the way he uses that particle I. Um,
yeah, to mean different things.
it's really
Yeah,
difficult to manage in a translation.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I can think in Hungarian similar things. There's a word that has a sort of regular meaning. There's one ish,
hmm
and it means also,
hmm
but it can also be a sort of just a simply an emphatic, which doesn't, even
hmm
when there's nothing additional, or when you haven't mentioned something already, but you're still using this word as if you had mentioned something,
That
So
sounds complicated.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not sure
yeah.
I believe you about your theory that Hungarian is a very simple
Well, I
language.
mean, but
I
it's a
think you were
little
just young and
idiomatic thing.
enthusiastic
Yeah,
back in the
it's
day.
that's sort of, what's the word? Sort of more sophisticated land, but that's the same in any language. When
Mm,
sophisticated writing, people are using
yeah.
more sort of what's the word? Stylized or little affectations or whatever, that kind of thing.
hmm
But I still would maintain that the basic structure with no case, with suffixes, with a fairly simple range of verbal tenses,
hmm
that and the irregularity is not 100%, 99.999% phonetic.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
Serbian, because
Really? Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
because always the first syllable is stressed. In
Yeah.
Hungarian, it's
Ah,
always the
right,
first
right,
syllable.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, of every
hmm
word. Um, So that's another simple thing.
There
Um,
are aspects, yeah. I mean, one of the things that I find eternally impossible to master with Serbian is these different forms of ch and j and
uh-huh. Yeah.
zh. There are two forms of all those sounds,
Right.
and for me, there's a difference in Chupria and Chatk, I think. So I'm not sure,
I mean, all I
but
know is
there's
the
two
one
different
the
kinds
one
of ch.
I'm sort of I feel pleased if I've more or less approximated is the ch
Mhm.
and the ch. You know
Yeah. Oh, well, you're
the
quite good at it. They're better than I am.
I've I've made up. I sort of looked into okay, so if it's at the end with the the ch,
Yeah.
and if it's
Mhm.
the heavier one, it's the ch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other stuff.
But
More
there's,
there are
I mean,
more.
there's a word which is exactly the same for a bag and a school pupil. But one
Yes.
is Jack and the other is Jack, I think.
Ah. So what's
So
the difference? Yeah, Jack.
again,
So
well, it's the same. It's the tongue position on the j. So
Jack,
it's just with as
Jack,
with ch and ch.
Jack, Jack. Is it
It's
Jack and Jack? Is that right? Jack and Jack.
Jack at the front
Yeah,
and Jack at the back.
Jack.
Uh,
Yeah, Jack.
but which is which? Don't ask me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. So, well, maybe we don't have to worry too much. As long as we approximate, we'll be
Well,
all right.
I do know that it's something that, for example, well, I've heard it said. I think that Croats from Zagreb also struggle to make that distinction.
Ah, right, okay.
Uh,
Well, I have a
Um,
student called, this name, Miljana. Miljana.
yes, Miliana. Yeah,
And
yeah.
my students, I have this group of girls, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
always start giggling when I say her name.
No, right.
And I actually said to them, okay, how do I say this? It's Miljana. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
But even then, there's something wrong with it. I don't know what it
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, Lia and Nia and these are unusual sounds for us, and also these consonant clusters, ts
yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
so
And
on.
I always laugh when I'm reading it. So my wife, okay, how many consonants do we have here? Like five or
Yeah,
six consonants without a
yes,
break?
yeah, yeah. And there
Uh,
really are some horrible tongue twisting.
Yeah. I
If I
think
remember
skuragut, in the Bible it says there will be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
right.
Skuragut, is that right? Skuragut,
Oh,
something.
right. This is testing my
That's
vocabulary
sort of
understanding.
biblical
Yeah.
Serbian.
Hmm.
But that's
Well, one of
gnashing.
the ones I struggled with for a long time was poslasti charnica.
Oh, wow. Yeah, when you want a
Uh,
cake, right? That's
yeah,
the cake
yes.
shop.
But yeah, there are combinations there which are pretty difficult for us to
Yeah,
wrap our
yeah, but
tongues around.
definitely a challenge. Yeah.
But I suppose one of the things that one has to say as well is that I will assert that all these languages are essentially the same: Bulgarian, Macedonian, Serbian, Bosnian, and Croatian. Essentially, I would say
Well, I
that.
mean, certainly,
And
Serbian, Croatian, Bosnian, and Montenegrin are the same language. I mean,
yeah. Mhm. Well,
that's
they are
but I
absolutely
think
the
with
same
Bulgarian
language,
and
but
Macedonian, you've got a different
mhm.
ball game with
they
these.
there are differences, but I think that at roots,
Yeah, I mean,
I
okay,
remember
Yeah,
once I
yeah.
went to get a Bulgarian visa when you still had to get a Bulgarian visa as an Englishman.
Oh, I
And
see.
I went to the Bulgarian embassy
All right.
in Belgrade and said, "Can I have a visa,
Yeah.
please, in Serbian?" And they said, "Oh, you speak Bulgarian, do you?"
Oh, right.
And it's
Okay.
exactly the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
it doesn't. I mean, I don't know what
Yeah, but
the
by the same
difference is.
token, then you've got Slovakian
Mhm.
and Czech. I mean, I after becoming familiar with Serbian,
Mhm.
and I'm driving in Hungary where you can hear the Slovakian radio,
Mhm.
I could understand what they were saying.
Right.
So I would say, for example, that Slovakian is closer to Serbian than maybe even Macedonian. I mean, if from what I was discussing with
Right.
with
Right.
Zoran,
Mhm.
I,
I
I
had
I
some
don't
contact
want to put my
with
neck out on the
Slovaks, yeah,
block on that one,
and
but
I didn't find it's possible to understand someone speaking Slovak to me.
oh, really? Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
Um,
maybe I'm exaggerating, but I
but
certainly,
there's a large vocabulary, a lot of
but yeah, the
similarity
basics of
across the
Slavic,
vocabulary.
words,
Yeah.
numbers, and
Mhm.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, yeah, certainly. I mean, Bosnian and Croatian, they are the same language, despite all the attempts to make
Well, that's it.
distinct.
That's it, and it sort of raises questions, doesn't it? That
Mm,
what what actually is the history of all this?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And the Croats have a different system of the names for months, for
yeah.
example.
But I
But
understand a lot of this has been emphasized recently. So that to sort of
yeah,
emphasize the
yeah.
to emphasize the difference. So to work on those ones which are less.
Well, there are lots of jokes about it. You know, the a sparrow in Serbian is vrabac, and
Yeah.
in Croatian it's zrnojed, a seed eater, something like
Oh,
that.
really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think, and
Right.
then
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
the Croatians instead of calling a helicopter, they have some sort of uh, zrako mlato,
Yeah.
something
Okay. So they
like
want
an
to
air
create
beater.
like a
So
Slavic
there's a
motion.
lot of jokes about it.
Yeah.
You in Croatian, you don't call it a belt, you call it a trouser holder upper. You know.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So
but
there was. I think this was just some recent developments, wasn't it? To sort of.
but yeah, then again, there are all sorts of regional variations. I mean, the dialect of Serbo-Croatian that they speak on the island of Korčula, for example, to
Yes.
me is pretty incomprehensible,
Oh, is that right?
just
Yeah.
because of the accent differences, and
Yes. Yeah.
there's
Right.
a lot of
Right.
vocabulary difference as well,
Yeah.
and pronunciation differences as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. Well, it's all these. Uh, that's the Balkans, isn't it? And things develop um, on their own for a long time in small areas, so they begin to diverge um, genetically, linguistically,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then there are you call those the I don't know um, the centripetal forces, and then the centrifugal ones, which spread out, and then you get these movements for unification. We got the language of Yugoslavia was Serbo-Croat. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
The first teach yourself book that I bought was called Teach Yourself Serbo-Croat.
Yeah. And it was, I
And,
mean, I don't know if I mentioned this
and
before, but this thing of, that was proverbial idea of something difficult was to learn Serbo-Croat. So
yes,
you can speak Serbo-Croat. Or are you trying to learn Serbo-Croat? It's like
yeah,
something
like,
that
are you mad? Yes.
yeah, you'd be crazy to try and do it.
Hmm.
So, and now after all these years, many decades later, I've lived to experience that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, well, I think that's a good note on which to finish. We've
Yeah.
covered a bit of ground there, and
Hmm.
hopefully given a bit of local colour to the topic. So we
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Yeah.
wish everybody farewell till the next time.